and every story can change the world. Together we are Global Speakers Talk.
Welcome everybody, I'm JB Herrera, the founder of Synergy AI and your host for Global Speakers Talk Monthly Summit. Today's episode has a title I want you to feel before we start. The future belongs to leaders who build what AI can't duplicate. And here's what I want you to notice about that. Right now, today, every leader you know is probably doing the same math in their head. They're looking at these AI tools that are landing every week, and they're asking one of two questions. The first is, what can I automate? And it's a fine question. It saves time, it cuts costs. It will not, however, build your future. The second question is the one this episode is about. It's the question that leaders who are pulling away from the pack are asking, and it goes like this. What part of me is the part no machine will ever do? That's the question. That's the whole episode. Now, let me tell you why this matters to me. So I'm the son of Mexican immigrants, and I grew up in Sacramento, California. And from the time I was small, I had this strange outsider feeling, not fully Mexican, not fully white. And that taught me something I didn't have words for until much, much, much later. What I learned was this. The most valuable thing about a person is the thing no system can issue you. Not a credential, not a title, the thing you became through your family, through your struggle, through the choices that nobody saw you make. Years later, in the early 80s, I ended up at Apple. And at Apple, I watched up close what happens when technology is built to unlock human brilliance and what happens when it isn't. I saw the difference, and it changes everything. And that's why I built Synergy AI. We design values-driven AI ecosystems for small businesses. And our entire founding thesis comes in one sentence. Technology should augment human brilliance, never replace it. So when I look at this current moment, when half the leadership conversation has tilted toward let's let AI do it, I get protective. Because the parts of you AI cannot do are the parts that built you. And those are the parts of the future that you're going to pay for the most. So today we have extraordinary guests, and each of them holds down a different layer of what the unautomated leader actually is. We're going to start at the surface, how people experience you, and we'll work our way in to trust, to inner coherence, to your character, to your presence, to the body you're actually living in. And by the end of today's episode, you'll have a map. So let's get started. Let's begin where every business meets every customer. At the moment, trust is either earned or lost. Our first guest knows that moment better than almost anyone. He's built his career studying why people actually buy and why they don't. He hates the salesy approach. He teaches leaders to lead with clarity, not pressure. His work isn't about closing. It's about being trustworthy enough that the close takes care of itself. And this is exactly the kind of signal AI will never originate. It can mimic the words, but it cannot manufacture trust. So, please join me in welcoming the founder of Brandon Barber Coaching, sales strategist, buyer psychology expert, and the man who turns conversations into clients without ever sounding like a salesman, Brandon Barber. Brandon, welcome to the stage.
JB, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think when it comes to AI, oh my gosh, the one thing that AI can't do is it cannot connect our nervous systems. Our nervous systems connect with each other, right? I mean, we call it energy, we call it interaction. And when you're selling something, what people need more than anything else, I'm going to share two things today, two tools that I promise you, if you use these things, AI can assist you in this, but they can't replace it. There's no way to replace these two things. If you're buying, or if you're selling something today that people need to buy, by the way, I'm curious, anybody out there selling something, or you have a service, an opportunity, you have a product, you have something that you're offering to the world. Anybody out there, by the way, just raise your hand. Okay. I'm seeing some hands raised. So what if I had two ways to help you dramatically shift what happens when you sell something to somebody. Because here's the thing. Who you are as a person right now, who you walk into the room, your identity that you have when you walk into the room is critical. People need certainty above all else. Listen, as salespeople, we were trained to sell a certain thing. I remember how I was trained. I have this thing sitting by my desk, like, see this? This is a phone. This is a real phone. This is like, I don't know if some of you remember this thing. That's a battery and everything. Those things are a real thing. I went to work in the sales world selling these things, the slim brick. Now, before there were only 3 other ways you could get a phone. You could get it as a brick phone, right, which is bigger than this, or you could get it in a car or a bag. I went and sold these things. And how I sold was different back then. But that's outdated today. It's gone. We are being attempted to be sold 62.1 times a day. Guys, that's a lot of sales. 62.1 times a day. It's changed. Sales used to be pressure. It used to be convincing. It's changed today. People, in a nutshell, buy 3 main ways. They're making decisions very differently than they did in the past. We have 3 parts of our brain. We have the subconscious, we have the conscious, and we have the instinctive brain. And most of our brains used to decide things consciously. Pre-COVID, 25% of our buying decisions come from a conscious state. In other words, we said we wanted something, our conscious brain bought it. Today, it's different. 95%, guys, of our buying decisions are made from a subconscious or instinctive place. So our instinctive brains and our subconscious brains are actually the ones buying things today. Our conscious mind, what we're deciding right here, is only 5%, which means even though your ideal client may want what you have, 95% of decisions are still made in the background. 91% of people today say they have to trust you before they buy. 92% of people say certainty and safety are the most important emotions when they're buying. And 95% of people are buying today are buying in that subconscious place. So how do you create, if certainty is the thing we want to create, and AI can help, but there's nothing like vulnerability. Like vulnerability, this like no other. Like I don't know how to, I want to share something really vulnerable with you guys right now. I got on this call 10 minutes before. Our dog of 15 years has been sick, and we woke up this morning and he's passed away. Wasn't sure I was even going to make it on this call because of that. I'm still kind of fluctuating in and out of, I don't even know why I'm sharing this. I'm sharing vulnerability with you guys. I wasn't even sure I was going to even be able to be on this call. I'm a little bit shaken up, a lot shaken up. I'm trying to muscle and work between it all. Vulnerability is critical. If we're not vulnerable as human beings, I don't think we can accept anything else from the world. Vulnerability is critical. It breaks through all of the noise. It breaks through all of the garbage. It breaks through everything. So we've got to create certainty in the marketplace in what we do. Now, there's several ways to do it, but I'm going to tell you the most important way to deliver certainty to people. It's through your offer. Your offer has got to be authentic. It's got to be genuine. It's got to answer four important questions. What do I get? How does this work? And will this work for me? And is it worth the entire thing anyway? So people are constantly asking that question. And if you don't have an offer that's dialed in, people don't get the certainty. And today people are buying. And I know I just shared something with you guys and I'm like, it's rattling around my head. And it's like, oh my gosh, like how is AI possibly going to help with that whole thing? How is AI? I don't even know if that helped anybody. Like, oh my gosh, this guy's like had this experience and he's here presenting to us like what a vulnerable situation, what a vulnerable experience. How does AI do that? How does AI create vulnerability? Now, here's what I know. I know this because Michelle and I, my wife and I, had to adjust our offer. We had to do things very different in our business when COVID hit. COVID wrecked our business. It destroyed it. A lot of people benefited. We didn't. We had to pivot dramatically and do a lot of new things. We had to pay people to teach us how to go online because everything we did was in person. We had to shift dramatically. Again, I apologize for today, guys. Like my brain's in a little bit. It's in a different space for sure. I had to gear up for this thing 5 minutes before I jump on. An offer is critical. If your offer is not there, you have you're not going to be able to create the certainty. Now, here's the other thing. We live in a noisy place. You're not competing with another business. You're competing with noise. How many of you know this? You're competing with digital distractions. You're competing with AI. You're competing with mental overload. You're competing with business pressure, personal life, financial stress, emotional noise, information overload. We get more information on a daily basis than a person received in a lifetime in 1900. We are in information overwhelm. So people don't make decisions when they're in the middle of a massive distracting, overwhelming, busy life. They just don't. So even if you have an amazing offer, which is the first step, by the way, we've got to create certainty. Here's our goal. Our goal is to calm the instinctive brain so that we can guide the subconscious brain so the conscious brain gets what it wants. Now, if you didn't get that, write that down because that's super good. That's powerful. Your goal as a professional guide, not a salesperson, but a professional guide, is to calm the instinctive mind so you can guide the subconscious so the conscious brain gets what it wants. And in a nutshell, it's just getting the ideal customer to say yes quicker. They're already your ideal customer. They already need what you have. They're already what you are wanting. We just have to get them there quicker. So that's why we're massaging that and taking that and calming that instinctive brain so that we can guide the subconscious. Guys, noise is out there. How do we eliminate the noise so people can hear our offers? It's through events. Here's an event. Immersion. Think about it. When you've watched a good movie and you've been immersed in a movie and you've watched it, and it's been up there on the screen, you forget you're even in a movie theater, right? You leave all your distractions behind. You leave all your old patterns behind. You're focused on something. You're emotionally engaged. It's called immersion. Events create immersion. This is an event that creates immersion. Maybe you left I'm even leaving some of my stuff aside for just a minute. I'm about ready to break into a million tears and go crazy with my family. It's all waiting downstairs in about 3 minutes. I got a couple other things I want to share with you guys first though, but listen, immersion, it allows you to focus. It allows you to break patterns. You can do it compresses time. It shrinks time. You can do in minutes what takes normally hours. You can do in hours what normally takes days. It builds belief fast and eliminates decision fatigue. It creates action. So the best way to create immersion is through an event. And my wife and I have found a secret. It's through the best event on the planet is a masterclass, a challenge. And I'm going to tell you this, and this is your subconscious is going to go, wait a second, I don't know if I can do this. It's 5 days, a 5-day masterclass, a 5-day challenge. Now, an hour a day is all I'm asking. But here's what we found. A webinar converts about 10%. A good webinar converts about 10% of people that come in, and 10% say yes to what you've got. If you have something massively AI driven and evergreen, about 10%. You do a 3-day masterclass, you get about 20% conversion. You do a 5-day masterclass, and we found that following a simple guideline and a choreography, 30% conversion. A masterclass is simply an opportunity to teach people desire, clarity, and confidence. And in 5 days, you turn people into buyers, 30%, but it's got to be done over 5 days. So guys, here I'm just going to connect the dots for you. An offer. To build certainty, you need a good offer. If you don't have a clear offer, people don't know how to buy. They don't trust you. They don't have certainty. If you don't create immersive experiences, people don't believe fast enough to act. So A masterclass. A masterclass is key. Now, some of you might be thinking, I don't know, I don't have content for 5 days. I don't know if I could do it. Listen, there are things that hold people back from doing this. And in a nutshell, I'm going to tell you it's because they feel overwhelmed. They don't think they could do 5 days. They don't feel like they have enough content. They feel like people won't show up and they'll be judged. Listen, the bottom line is you care. That's the reason that you wouldn't do a 5-day masterclass. But here's what I'm going to do. We have literally, I think you guys all will I'll have the link to do this. Come attend our upcoming masterclass, which is July, my gosh, it's coming up July 12th, 13th. It's like Monday through, I don't know, 13th through the 17th, something like that. But we've created a masterclass where we're going to help you sell with certainty, create a clear converting offer, a structured masterclass, a proven way to fill that masterclass, and how to do a signature talk. Normally this signature talk goes really, really amazing. And it's like crystal clear and people are loving it. And I'm just having some difficulty today. So I appreciate you guys bearing with me. And then in that 5-day, we're going to help you handle objections very, very clear before they even show up. July 13th through 17th, it's a gift to all of you. Come attend the masterclass on masterclasses so we can show you how to create the offer, create more certainty, step into being a professional guide, and literally creating an event that'll create an immersion. So guys, I'm 15 minutes, I'm up, I'm getting alerts, I'm getting notified. I appreciate you being with me today, and I appreciate you allowing me to be here, not at my best. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to you, JB. Have a fantastic day, guys. Take care.
First of all, Brandon, thank you so much. We really appreciate you being vulnerable and sharing that story with us and putting yourself out there. Truly, this was a masterclass topic and something that most leaders get backwards. So again, thank you, Brandon. Go be with your family, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Here's what I want everyone to hold on to what Brandon just said. Trust isn't a tactic that you deploy at the close. Trust is the output of who you actually are when you walk in the room, which raises a question. Who you are when you walk in the room, where does that come from? Well, it comes from the inside. It comes from the alignment or the lack of alignment between what you say you want and what your subconscious is actually running. And nobody in the world is doing more interesting work on that frontier than our next guest. She's the founder of the Osiris 33 method, and her work has reached more than 1,500 members in Japan and is now expanding globally across education, business, and personal development. Her thesis is one I find genuinely beautiful. When conscious intention and subconscious wiring come into coherence, leaders act with clarity, precision that nothing else can produce. And this is the layer that no machine can touch. AI cannot do your inner work for you. Nobody can. So we have a recording from our next speaker, who is Yuko Kondo. Yuko, let's play that video.
What if the greatest threat from artificial intelligence is not that it will replace humans, but that humans will forget the extraordinary potential they already possess? Today, AI can write articles. AI can translate languages. AI can analyze massive amounts of data. AI can even help create business strategies. Because of this rapid advancement, many people are asking, will AI replace my job? What value will humans have in the future? Will the first still be needed in the age of AI? These are important questions, but I believe we may be asking the wrong question. Instead of asking what AI can do, perhaps we should ask, what can humans do that AI will never be able to replace? AI can process information, but it cannot dream. AI can generate answers, but it cannot discover purpose. AI can analyze emotions, but it cannot genuinely feel compassion. These are uniquely human abilities. As we move into the future, success will not be determined by how much information we possess. It will be determined by how fully we develop and express our human potential. Our creativity, our empathy, our self-awareness, our ability to inspire others, and our ability to continue growing throughout our lives. Yet there is one challenge. Most people never fully express the potential they already have. The problem is not the lack of ability. The problem is that their abilities remain locked away. Let me share a simple example. A business leader once came to me for support. He was intelligent, experienced, and highly capable. Yet every time he faced an important decision, he became anxious. He doubted himself. He hesitated. As a result, he was unable to fully utilize his abilities as a leader. The issue was not a lack of talent. The real issue was a deeply rooted subconscious belief: I must not fail. Once he became aware of that belief and released it, everything began to change. His confidence increased, his decision-making improved, his leadership became stronger, and his company began to grow. Why does this happen? In many cases, the answer lies within the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind can be understood as our unconscious behavioral patterns. Many experts suggest that our conscious mind represents only 1 to 3% of our mental activity, while the remaining 97 to 99% operates at a subconscious level. Imagine someone consciously saying, I want to succeed. Yet deep inside, they carry beliefs such as, I'm not good enough, I might fail, it's impossible. Which message will be stronger, the conscious desire or the subconscious belief? This is why so many capable people never reach their full potential. For more than 20 years, I have studied this question, and that research led me to create the Irresistible 33 method. The Irresistible 33 method is designed not only to enhance human abilities, but also to help people fully express the abilities they already possess. In other words, it focuses on both ability enhancement and ability liberation. Many people carry fear, self-doubt, limiting beliefs, negative emotional patterns. When these barriers are released, people begin to access their natural abilities and strengths. Their confidence grows, their leadership improves, their communication becomes more effective, and their lives begin to change. The title of my book is You Can Change Your Subconscious Mind in 1 Second. Many people believe change takes years, but I have witnessed countless moments where a single realization changed a person's life. A single decision changed the future. A single shift in awareness transformed the person's direction completely. That is why I believe that in the age of AI, inner development is becoming more important than ever. We do not need to fear AI. AI is a tool. Humans are the creators. Humans are the decision makers. Humans are the visionaries. And humans are the ones who give meaning to life. The greatest value that AI can never replace is the potential that exists within every human being. Humans have dreams. Humans have love. Humans have purpose. And humans have the power to transform themselves and create a better future. I truly believe that the age of AI is also the age of human awakening, the age of rediscovering who we truly are, the age of unlocking the extraordinary potential that has always existed within us. The one thing AI can never replace is you. Your life, your experiences, your purpose, your potential. Please believe in your potential. Continue to grow with confidence. Continue to develop the unique qualities that make you human. The future will not be created by AI alone. The future will be created by people who have awakened to the power of their subconscious minds and fully expressed their true potential by us. Thank you very much.
Well, I really appreciate the words and I guess the content that she's put together. In the age of potential, Yuko's work will help us achieve that potential internally. That's the inner work. And the inner work is essential. The subconscious mind is the key to making it work. So when you do make that shift in your subconscious, though, how do you activate it in your life? Well, our next guest is the founder of the Be Extraordinary Women's Network and the creator of the Shine Leadership Advantage. She's an empowerment strategist and a high trust facilitator who teaches leaders to step into what she calls aligned visibility. And I'm all over this concept. So she's being seen as who you actually are, leading from wholeness instead of from pressure. This is the AI layer that AI can't fabricate. It just can't. The algorithm can build you a brand, but it can't make you real. So please welcome a leader who helps visionaries find their clarity, their confidence, and their courageous momentum, Debbie Prediger. Debbie, welcome.
Thank you so much. You know, being backstage here, it has been in real life, being backstage has just, I'm smiling ear to ear at this conversation. We might have thought that this conversation was 100% going to be about tech, but it is not. It is about real humans having real experience, and the gap between having our businesses perform better, going after tech. Who here uses AI to make their life simpler, right? You know, it's checking your emails, it's writing your scripts, it's even possibly connecting you with other people automatically. But what I've heard over and over again already in just this little bit is that it can't replace the human connection. And I believe now more than ever, people are looking for that human connection. In fact, I have the privilege of, I've been working, you know, behind the scenes with some really big people creating big events. Like we're talking, you know, 500,000 to 1 million people. And I'm in a Zoom room behind the scene managing 1,000 people in that Zoom room. And although they're very interested in what's being said on stage, they are very interested in connecting with each other in the chat. And when the stage closes, a lot of those people don't want to leave the room. Why? Because they were craving the connection more than the information, more than even seeing that amazing person on stage that is a celebrity. They were looking for the connection, that me too, she gets it. She understands where I'm coming from. And I believe that those leaders that are stepping into this type of transformational leadership, where they can not only connect with their audience, but help them shift, help them have that breakthrough, that transformation. Again, it's here's where we are, and here's where I know you can go to, where you're desiring to be, where you're truly asking to be, when we can help you get out of your own way, where we can discover the gap in between what you believe is possible and the actions you're willing to take. And really, that's what I'm doing with the visibility, is I'm helping you see all parts of you, the healed part, the not so healed part, the purpose-driven part, the beliefs that are running through your mind, and bringing them to the surface so you can really discover who you are. Not who did somebody else tell me I am, but who am I really? From that core essence, we talked about highest potential and human potential and all that. We have a true essence that lives right within us. And when we're out here searching for answers, we're giving a bit of our power away. Now, I'm not saying don't go discover new skills and don't investigate AI and all it can do to help make your business better. But what I'm saying is that until you bring that knowledge, that skill set back here and discern it and really understand, what does that mean for me? What am I meant to do with it? I believe that each one of us has a divine calling, that each one of us has a divine assignment that we said yes to a long time ago. And there has been struggles and beliefs and habits and patterns that have gotten in the way of us 100% embodying and choosing that assignment every day. It's the wobble. It's the back and forth. I really want to do this thing, but then who am I to do that? I really believe in this cause, but I really wish so-and-so would go do it so that I could stand behind them and just cheer them on. But what if the leader you were looking for was you? What if the person that you were praying for, you had those qualities, and we needed to just bring a little bit more of those qualities out in you? So I call this the Shine Leadership Advantage, because I want you to shine your unique light. I don't want you to be a robot of me, a duplication of me or Tony Robbins or Mel Robbins or anybody else. I want you to come with your unique stories, your wisdom, your lived experiences. And I help you craft that into more clarity on who you are, more confidence in standing and sharing that story and believing that your story matters, that it is going to bring freedom and new sense of confidence to someone else as well. You see, the other thing that I believe in is that we're all leaders. I believe that we are all here to be way showers and guides and lead not only those that are lost, but the generations to come. And I think that we're at a really pivotal time in our lives right now where many other people have said it. We have this AI generation that's moving so fast, and it can be confusing and it can also be freeing. Who here has actually used AI in a way that's like just catapulted your business or even your relationships or even at home, right? We can use it for personal things to make things easier, creating lists, duplicating actions that we take all the time. And so it's freeing us up time. But what are you doing with that time? Are you taking the time to then go inward and learn more about yourself, your fears, your BS stories, your habits, and your patterns, so that you can come out that whole human that's literally shining so brightly? Now, Brandon talked about sales, and I love this topic. I hope that he'll be back for the roundtable afterwards, because I love the conversation of sales versus serving someone. And when you have an offer that you believe in 100%, you know who that offer is for and who it's going to really help. And you start speaking to those things that that other person on the other side is praying for. Who knows that one of their offers literally is something that at one point in your life you were praying for? Now, don't you think that that offer would then help someone else that is also praying for it? You have a solution. You went through something. You figured it out. So why would we want to hide that? I never want anybody with that type of offer to be the best kept secret. So my goal is to be obsessed with helping you find your audience. You be more clear on who you are and what you bring to the table. Have that confidence, have that courage, take that aligned action. But I also believe the other part of that selling is really amping up your light so that others can find you. It's not just Global Speakers Talk or Debbie Prediger that puts you on a stage. You must shine completely, 100% authentically, to the point that people look at you and go, I don't know what it is about her, but I need to know more. And that's when you're really dialed in. I call it the radio. There's a frequency and there's a whoop, that's it. And when you reach that part, you are authentic, you're leading from your highest potential. You are definitely fulfilling your divine essence, your divine assignment. And the other part of that, the bigger picture that I believe in, is all of your life's experience, all your stories, all of your struggles, all of your I found the way, now is bridging the gap for someone else. And I believe it's part of why we're all here. Is I went through some things in my life. I could sit in overwhelm and victimhood and be really angry at things that I've gone through. Or I could have the perspective that the things I've gone through could help someone else. And that's me being here for a purpose, on purpose. And that's really what I mean about visibility. Visibility isn't vanity. I want you to hear that. Visibility is not vanity. Visibility is you shining your unique light in a way that is authentic to you, feels good and aligned and solid and grounded and truth to you. Because when you do that, other people want to know what you're selling, how you're serving, how to connect with you. They want to be in your world. It's been also talking a few times here about trust. And I really want to ask you a question. What does trust mean to you? There's two sides of trust. There's having trust that someone else has your back or your best interests at heart. So I trust Global Speakers Talk. But then there's also the, how do I invite somebody to trust me? And I believe it's say what you mean and mean what you say. I believe that when we're fully aligned in our truth, when we know who we are, we know who we serve, we take action that feels very congruent and aligned to what we say and what we teach other people to do, that we're building trust. There's also that trust that comes when you see somebody on stage the very first time and you're like, I need to learn more about them. And you go out and you look at their social media, you looked at their LinkedIn, you maybe look at their YouTube, you're checking them out. Let's be honest, we all do it. And if there's something incongruent, we're like, maybe they've grown, maybe they've got old copy and new copy. So there's a little alert. But if you see them the next time and they feel like a completely different person than the person you met, now our alarms are going off. So again, I ask you, what are you looking for when you're building a trusted relationship? And what are those things that really matter to you? They're non-negotiables. Because if you're looking for them, so is somebody else looking for them when they're looking for you. And I want you to think about that. When we're living this, who am I really? Who do I serve? And I have the confidence to show up and claim it. Claim it. It's yours. Speak it, embody it, live it. Then there is these courageous actions that you didn't even know were possible. You didn't know you had it in you. But trust me, those people that are praying for you, searching for you, wishing that they could find you, they're really happy that you found that certainty and you started shining your unique light and got really visible, because now the ripple effect can really happen. One healed human can heal another human. So let's circle back to the topic of this conversation today, unautomated. When we think about being unautomated, we think AI, we think a few different things. We could have gone in quite a few different directions. I find it fascinating that every single one of us come here and said, be you, be irreplaceable, connect with those that you're meant to connect with. Build trusted relationships, because we can go so much faster and further when we do it in community, when we do it in collaboration. I believe in collaborative leadership. Now, there is the unhealed human that has had some struggles with collaborations or joint ventures before. And so I know that it's not for everyone, but I also know that I'm here to show people how to do it right, how to do it so that it's a win for you, a win for the other person you're collaborating with, and a win for your combined audiences. And there's a formula to that. There's a success measurement to that. But who are you looking for? How are you trying to find your people? And when you're looking, when you're showing up, are you congruent across your brand and in your inner world? And how is that showing up? And have you asked people, have you asked them for their perspective of what they think, how you're showing up? Your true people, your trusted people, your community, they'll let you know. They'll let you discover some of the gaps. One of the stories that I will share, and then I'll wind this up, is that I had the opportunity of working with some really, really amazing people. People that at one point in my life, I would have thought, wow, they're the guru at the top of the mountain. And I was celebrating a lot of people and putting them on a pedestal and sharing their wisdom and really coming from underneath, not in hierarchy of higher or lower, but I was like lifting everybody else up. And finally, my trusted tribe said to me, Debbie, you keep recommending us to work with someone else. The truth is, we want to work with you. You're interpreting what you learned from them, and you're drilling it down into a way that not only can we understand it, but we can trust it. We want to work with you. So I had to get out of my own way and create the programs and the offers and what I now call the Shine Leadership Advantage, because they asked me for it. So even though I teach this, I still had blind spots. And that's why I say, ask your people, stay in rooms where you have trusted relationships that can refer you and you can work together, and continue to shine your own unique light. Thank you so much, everyone.
Wow. Debbie, thank you so much. I agree with you. We've been given gifts, talents, a mission, a divine assignment. I love that. And that we can find our success through all those characteristics. And how you frame trust is truly amazing. I want to thank you for all of that. It's wonderful information. I can't wait to have a further conversation with you in the roundtable. Thanks again. So and so here's where the camera zooms one layer deeper, because you can't lead from wholeness if your body is broken down. You can't show up with aligned visibility if you're running on 3 hours of sleep in a system that's been inflamed for a decade. The leader is not a brain on a stick. The leader is a body as well. And no AI is going to metabolize your food for you. No AI is going to do your sleep, your hormones, your recovery, or your strength. Our next guest has spent more than 20 years in the trenches of human performance as a professional bodybuilder, as a personal trainer, and now as the creator of the metabolic operating system, MetOS. His thesis is one that I really, really love. Most wellness systems fail because they try to force outcomes instead of fixing the underlying system. He's leading some of the most important conversations happening right now in metabolic restoration, personalized health, and what it actually takes for a human being to perform at high level over a long horizon. This is the most unautomatable layer of all. The body is a substrate. The body is the operating system that the leader actually runs on. So please welcome to the stage the creator of MetOS, Trevor Folgering. Trevor, come to the stage. Welcome.
Well, good day, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. I'm super excited to be here. Thank you so much, JB, for that great introduction. Listen, this is one of the most important topics, guys, that we could delve into. Your health is so important to everybody around you. And here's the thing I realized is that AI cannot replicate your divine metabolism. What if I told you the biggest reason that I actually rebuilt my entire company was because, not because AI got weaker, but because AI got stronger. You see, I work in the health and wellness industry, and I've been doing this for over 25 years. And I see a pattern that happens over and over and over again. People want information about how to fix their metabolism. Anybody today can open up ChatGPT and ask, how do I lose weight? How do I improve my energy levels? How do I lower my blood sugar? How do I build a meal plan? And within seconds, boom, that information is there. Yet, despite having all this information, guys, we are still suffering with obesity, with diabetes, with individuals that have a broken metabolism. And it saddens me to think that we have all this information, and yet we are still behind when it comes to our health and bodies. We're suffering, we're struggling. And this is where ChatGPT cannot replicate the human experience in terms of metabolism. So it made me realize that I needed to rebuild my company, because I've been operating a company for over 10 years called Biohack the Fat. And we helped men over 40 lose body fat without dieting, without going to the gym, without doing any crazy stuff, without Ozempic. But something clicked in my head that I thought, this is not enough. Because somebody could easily go on ChatGPT and say, hey, make me a meal plan like Biohack the Fat does. And boom, they get a meal plan. Yet, does that really fix the metabolism? Because here's the thing, most people don't need more information. That's the thing. Most people don't need more information because we have so much information, especially when it comes to AI. What we're missing is transformation. And for years, my business was built around information, not transformation. Giving great information, but excluding transformation. And this experience where ChatGPT has become so powerful and AI has become so powerful has led me to rebuild my entire company so we could get better results for the clients that we serve. Because I think that's so important. Because many people need help when it comes to rebuilding their body and their health. Because let's face it, AI can summarize research, AI can create plans, AI can answer questions. But knowing what to do and actually doing it are completely two different things. Right? We can have all the great information in the world. We can know exactly how to lose weight. We can know exactly how to lower our blood sugar levels. We know exactly all the step-by-step, intricacies of getting healthy. But then why are people still struggling with their health? Simple answer, because information is not enough. Because if information was enough, we'd have this all solved already. Wouldn't you agree? Everyone would be happy, healthy, and feeling their best. But instead, we have the opposite. And that's really disheartening for me as a health and fitness provider. We have all that information, but we're still struggling. So I'll tell you a little bit about what I do. I work primarily with men over 40. We do work with women over 40, but primarily with men over 40. And every time I talk with a man over 40, because we have face-to-face conversations on Zoom, I hear the same thing over and over again. Right? I hear the same thing. They've tried diets. They've exercised. Right? They've gone on, Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig, and they tried the shot, the Ozempic. They follow plans. They've done everything, and yet they're frustrated. They're still frustrated because their body no longer responds the way it used to. And that's the problem, because the problem isn't more information. The problem is interpretation of your metabolism. What is your metabolism actually trying to tell you? because your body communicates with you every single day. But the question is, are you listening? That's the real question. That's something that AI cannot replicate. It can't replicate your own metabolism or your interpretation of your metabolism. Because we have 6 very important metabolic signals that help us understand if our metabolism is very strong and can help us lose body fat, or if it's unstable and actually is pushing our body more into protection mode. That's energy levels, sleep, recovery, stress, cravings, and yes, fasting glucose levels. The all-important fasting glucose levels. You see, we don't need more information. We actually need to be more intuitive with our own metabolism. We need to understand our bodies better. And that's something that AI cannot replicate. You can't go on ChatGPT and say, hey, ChatGPT, tell me about my metabolism today. That just won't work. It's probably going to give you some jibble jabble. It's not obviously going to give you the right answer. You need to be your own health advocate for your own body. And that's why I recreated my entire system. I literally took Biohack the Fat and said, see you later. I'm going to rebuild something stronger that doesn't get replicated by AI. That's what we need. We need a system that allows you to understand how to navigate the human metabolism. And that's what I built. Because the stronger your metabolism is, the easier it is for you to lose body fat. It is so easy once you understand how your metabolism works. You don't have to go on a diet. You don't have to cut calories. You don't even have to go to the gym. You don't even have to exercise, although I love exercising. But you don't have to exercise. You have to understand your metabolism. And that's something that AI cannot replicate. So I wasn't in the information business. I'm in the transformation business now. I don't give people information. I help them understand their patterns, their metabolic patterns. That's majorly different than just giving some information and trying to see if people can piece together the puzzle. Right? And that's so important, guys. We have to realize that if we want a healthy society, we can't diet anymore. We can't ask ChatGPT anymore about how to fix our body. We have to become our own advocates. That is super important. And that's what brings us to this theme today. Because the leaders who are going to thrive in the AI era won't be the people who know the most. They won't. Because we can have all this information. But it's not about the leaders that know the most information. There'll be people who can create the most trust. Right? Because AI can replicate content, AI can replicate marketing, AI can replicate frameworks, but AI cannot replicate your story. It cannot replicate your lived experience. It cannot replicate your presence, and it cannot replicate genuine human trust. And so when it comes to your health in your body, I implore you not to use AI, but get in touch with your own metabolism. Get in touch with your energy levels, your hunger, your cravings. Get in touch with how your metabolism responds day to day. Because once you start to feel how your metabolism works, you won't need more information. You'll start to understand how this all fits together. And I had a client that started working with me back in January. His name is Bruce, by the way. And he just sent me a text yesterday saying he lost 50 pounds since we worked together. Now, he didn't go on AI and say, hey, write me a meal plan or tell me how I can lose this 50 pounds. We worked together and I helped him navigate his own metabolism so we could understand his metabolic signals. And we created metabolic stability over a 6-month period. Creating metabolic stability and metabolic trust allows you to lose body fat. You see, you don't want to force the body to lose body fat, because forcing the body to lose body fat doesn't work long term. Your body, like anything else, will rebel and you'll put that weight back on. Have you ever had that experience? I know a lot of people watching here have had that experience. You've lost weight, you feel good for a little bit, cravings kick back in, hunger kicks back in, and then you start gaining weight. It happens all the time. I have the conversations with men all day long about this, right? So information doesn't fix that, right? We have to get in touch with our own human body, and we have to make it stronger. My goal is to live to 100 plus, right? I'm 47, so I got a long ways to go. But in order for me to do that, I need to learn how to read my metabolic signals better, right? I have to be in touch with my body. And I implore you to start learning about your own metabolism, not through more information, but through lived experiences. When you eat, how does your body feel? How do you recover? How's your sleep? How are you managing stress? That is more important than more information. Start reading your own metabolism and you'll be surprised at how far you can go. It is really wonderful once you start to connect with your own body. Your own body is an amazing organism. It's one of the most beautiful things that we have been given, is this body, this vessel. I want you guys to embrace that. That is the key to longevity. The key to longevity isn't dieting. It's not cutting calories. It's not going to the gym. It's getting in touch with your own metabolic signals. And my, oh my, when you are in touch with those metabolic signals, you'll feel so much better. You'll have more energy. You'll start to understand how to fuel your body better. You'll just feel more connected with yourself. And you won't need more information. You'll feel so much better. That's the key. That is the secret of a long, healthy, amazing life. So as we close today, and as I start closing and wrapping this up, I want to really reiterate the important information here. Information is not enough. It's just not enough. The future doesn't belong to people who just devour more information. The future is really understanding that AI can never replace your human body, your human trust, your human connection. It cannot replace how you feel about your own body. AI is wonderful and it is so powerful and it has a lot of answers, but those answers aren't really giving us what we want. So as we move forward, I want you guys to start to think about your metabolism. Think about how it's responding day to day. How are you feeling? How does your metabolism respond every single day to your food inputs, to your training, to your sleep, to your stress? And start to make subtle changes. Not huge changes. You don't have to go crazy, but make subtle changes. Eat every 4 hours. Have really good, high quality proteins and fats. Hydrate really well. Exercise, but not crazy. Move your body. I'm a performance walker and I love walking. That's my thing. I love just going for a walk, enjoying nature. Connect with your body, because that is what's going to make the biggest difference, not more information. So that's true with your body, that's true with health, and that's true with everything that we focus on when it comes to weight loss and the human metabolism. Thank you so much for having me, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you have a wonderful day and take care of your metabolism and it'll take care of you. Thank you.
Well, Trevor, first of all, thank you very much. I never thought about reading my metabolism the way that you just described. We clearly live in an information age, But I think we've gone so far into understanding information, we've been bogged down by it. And what you've just talked about gives us a way to get through all of the stuff and actually practically implement something that affects our lives through our bodies, which affects our mind, which affects our spirit, our subconscious capabilities. And then guess what? We become better leaders simply because we're taking care of ourselves.
Yes.
So Trevor, thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. It was great to talk with you guys, and I really appreciate it. And I hope that we all take that to heart, because this is so important for becoming like an amazing leader. Once you had said it, JB, once you actually get in touch with your metabolism, you feel better, but you become better. You become a better person because you feel better about yourself, about your body, about your health.
Absolutely. Well, what I'd like to do right now is, I know Debbie is here, so I'd like to have Debbie come on stage as well and have a little talk with us, a little roundtable if you guys have a little bit of time, and talk about how, clearly we've gone from the industrial age to the information age. Now I think what we're trying to do, what we've seen today, is that we're coming into the human age, even though it's not popular. Right? We've heard about, I have an AI company. I run an AI company. I design AI things, but in service to humans, not to replace them and not to give us more stuff, because that does in fact bog us down, right? It's really about how we can become, my tagline is, it's human brilliance augmented with AI, and it's focused on human brilliance. So the capability curve of AI is going almost straight up, and machines are getting better at imitation pretty much every 90 days. And they're going to keep getting better. That part is settled. But the question for leaders isn't, how do I compete with imitation? Who cares, right? Imitation will eventually be very, very good. But the real question is, what's the leadership move that widens the gap on what only humans can do? That's what we want to talk about. That's what we can take and put together from the conversations that we've had today. And Trevor, I know that you're going to be really powerful here. And I know that Debbie, when she has that divine assignment, when you combine these two things together, it's going to be amazing. So let's talk about that. Who'd like to start?
I think as you were talking, JB, something came into my mind, and I think it's so important, is that yes, AI has become so powerful, and it imitates, and it's very good at creating human, I would say, imitation. But I think what a lot of people are lacking is human connection, right? I think it's widened the gap between imitation and human connection, right? People long for connection, and people long to feel better, right? But AI cannot generate that, right? It can't generate the actual human connection we all seek and we all need, right? And I think that's one of the most important things to realize, is that the gap between human connection and human imitation has become so wide that I think most people are like, man, there's something missing. There's something missing. I love working with AI, but on the other hand, human connection has become weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker, right? And it starts with social media, but I think AI has broadened that gap quite a bit.
Right, I agree.
Yeah. So for me, I spoke about it earlier, that connection is the real thing that everybody's searching for. But if you're using AI, are you asking the right questions to AI, right? A lot of people still are just copying and pasting a prompt from somebody else. And I really want you to understand, what is it, like, again, talk about that clarity of, who am I? Who do I serve? If you are obsessed with the person that you can help, and you know their fears, you know their BS stories, you know their struggles, you know what you have a solution for, and you use AI to help you get really, really clear on that, asking the right questions, why not ask, and now how can I connect with these people? Because AI can help give you ideas when it knows what you're wanting to provide. So Trevor, when I heard you speaking, so I'm a retired nurse, so I love talking about how the body works. when it's working the way it's meant to, when we're giving it everything it needs to work, it's a miracle. And so it's just like any other human. When we're not working to our potential, to our optimum, we're too far, maybe in ego, and we're like, look at me, or maybe we're over here too far the other way, shining, hiding, thinking somebody else is better than us. Those are all just pieces of us, how we naturally, our stories come forward. But when we start to be the interpreter, the bridge between that, the connector to people's thoughts. So what I teach inside of my community, I have mentors that mentor my members. And what I'm teaching them is to be a transformational mentor. Again, where are your people? What's the struggle they're having, the gap? And then how do you have the solution? Don't sell it to them. Let them discover it through conversation, through connection, through aha moments, through really shining and telling a story, such as Brandon with his vulnerability. That's what people are looking for. And so I'm all in with more connection. That's exactly what we're doing. But every person has their own unique way to connect and to create connection and shared experiences.
You know, what's really interesting to me as I look back on my career and my life, in business, right? You may or may not have had this experience, but I'll share mine with you. Is you've heard of the Peter Principle, right? Where people rise to the level of their incompetence. And in businesses, many times people have risen to that and have hidden behind information. They'll get into, a cross-functional conversation with multiple people from different disciplines, and they'll go, oh yeah, you need to be doing this and you need to be doing that and blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, inside they're going, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, right? And when that stuff starts to happen, it affects your body. And the moment it starts to affect your body, it starts to affect your mind. And then it starts to affect your spirit. And then as all of the natural capabilities that we have start to diminish, and our leadership capability starts to fail as well. So what we're talking about, I think, is an interaction between all of these different things, understanding that there's a divineness of who we are as human beings. It starts in our physical body. It continues into our mental processes. It goes into our subconscious. It affects our body. Then it goes back into our mental processes. Then it goes into our subconscious. Then it goes back into the body, right? So what we're talking about in today's episode, really, it's not about AI. And people get really clear about this. AI, I have an AI company. And when I talk about using AI, it's only to the extent that it gives you the time to be your higher self. And what I didn't get until today is what Trevor was talking about. I didn't get that. And everybody needs to understand that they're all connected. And when we connect those things, then we can become the person that we were meant to be.
Yeah, that's really well said, JB. And one word actually came to mind when you started talking about that is trust. Trusting yourself, right? I think so many people sort of outsource that trust to ChatGPT because they don't trust themselves. Hate that. Right? Yes. Right. Trusting themselves. That's the one thing that I think many people lack, because we all know we are divine human spirit, right? At the essence of everything, we are spirit. That's what I believe. Yeah. But I think people have lost their trust with themselves, and I think that's why AI has sort of become in the forefront, because it can just sort of give everything to AI and say, AI, make all the decisions for me, do all this for me, right? But that doesn't build to the trust with themselves, and then they lose that, and then everything starts to erode underneath.
Right. Yeah, everybody wants the easy button.
Yeah, everything, right? On everything. And I think that's one of the fundamental challenges that we have culturally, is that we want everything now, right? Fast food restaurants,
yeah, I get it. You don't want to take the time, but you know what? I started to learn to cook so that I could take the time, and found out that it was very, very relaxing.
Mhm.
There's something cool about being able to take fresh vegetables and cut them up and put them together and put it into, with different spices and do that. I find that kind of fun. Now, other people would think that's stupid. I'd just rather go to a restaurant and do something. No, no. Well, okay, that's fine. But find your bliss. Find your capability of who you are in the world and life that you have, so that you can get in touch with who you are. When I started doing that, it was like 5 years ago. I realized how stressed and intense I was all the time. It was going from one thing to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. And my body froze up. I had a TIA, right? And, heart problems and all. And I went, stop that noise. We get so inundated with information on a daily basis, right? I read where, and Trevor, you could probably talk about this as well, but in the 1900s, there was one radio station, early 1900s. And so how people got their news was by reading the paper like once a week. That was it. And maybe a radio. If you were lucky, you had the radio. But now we have something like 150,000 pieces of information hitting at us at any given time. And you know what? The body can't resonate with all of that stuff. We're not built for that kind of activity coming at us. So for us, and AI can enhance that. We've abused that with social media, right? The addiction that comes from all of that stuff. But right now we have this opportunity, and that's why we're here with Global Speakers talking specifically on this particular topic. AI is not the end all be all. What Trevor's been talking about, what Debbie's been talking about, what Yuko talked about, and what Brandon talked about earlier is the key. These are the keys for us to take control of who we are. And I just want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart to both of you who were able to remain here for us during the roundtable. Are there any last things that you'd like to pass on to the audience?
I would love to. And I love talking about the nervous system because I believe that we've all brought that up in a different way. But when we are feeling aligned, safe, balanced, we are unstoppable. That's you as that true essence leader that you've been called to. So find every way, whether it's your metabolism, whether it's like shining your unique light, spend more time understanding your nervous system and where are you feeling triggered? Where is there a gap? Where do you feel safe and anchored and fully seen and loved and accepted? Those people might think those are soft skills. I believe they're leadership skills that every person needs. Spend some time there and you'll see your life change.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I just wanted to add to that too, Debbie, because you actually brought up something really important, is the nervous system. We are inundated with all this information, and now AI has sort of catapulted that above what our nervous system can truly handle. And a lot of us are more in a sympathetic fight or flight nervous system state for a majority of the day. And that causes so much instability within our bodies, right? That's so important, guys, that we can sort of disconnect from our phone. We can disconnect from AI and truly look at how our bodies are responding. And if we need to take a little bit of a break from AI, from social media, that's going to be a good thing, right? Like we need to sort of disconnect and be more in touch with our nervous system and allow our bodies to feel safe again. Because I think all that information that is coming at us, I think JB, you said 150,000, bits of information, whatever it is, that is crazy. And that causes the body to become protective. That causes the body to literally start shutting down, right? So we have to sort of look at our bodies as not unlimited energy, but we have a limited resource with our nervous system. And we all want our bodies to be in more of a rest and digest, state. Up for most of the day, right? Where we're not always like, oh my God, like go, 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 go. Like when I was delivering my speech, yeah, I was in more of a sympathetic, like push, get this out, get this talk out. But the rest of the day, I'm going to disconnect and I'm going to start just to pull my body back and start being more in a parasympathetic nervous system state so my body can recover. And that's the key. Once we recover, our bodies become stronger. And that's really how we improve our body, our health, and our mind.
I love it. This is totally awesome. Well, I wanted to, again, thank Debbie and Trevor for being here at the end, for Brandon, Yuko, who were here earlier. Thank you so much for being here. And this is the kind of conversation at Global Speakers Talk that we're really trying to get to really enhance the quality of our lives through these topics and through the expertise that we have from these speakers. So thanks again. So here's what we have. I want to give people who are watching this homework. Pick a layer that called out to you. Just one. And this week, not someday, this week, do one thing to widen your gap on that layer. One conversation that builds trust instead of pressure. 1 hour of inner work. One hour of evaluating your metabolism. Go and reach out to Trevor. Find Debbie, right? They're the people who can help you get to that next step in who you are so that you can be the leader that you've always been designed to be. That's how you become unautomatable. Not all at once, layer by layer, choice by choice. So again, I want to thank Brandon, Yuko, Debbie, Trevor for an extraordinary discussion today. And I'm JB Herrera. This has been Global Speakers Talk Monthly Summit. Remember, the future belongs to leaders who build what AI can't duplicate. So get out there, go build, make today your masterpiece. Thanks very much.
Take care, everybody. Bye.
Together we are Global Speakers Talk.